The tipping rate that we observed throughout the 19th century and most of the 20th century was about 10% until the 1970s. During the 1980s, we observed 12%, 18%, and in the past 10 years, we have been paying 18%, 20%, 22%. It's getting to a quarter. So the tipping rate is accelerating totally out of control. And remember, it's not only the rate that matters, it's the scope that matters. Whom are we supposed to pay tips these days? Hotel service workers, garage workers, plumbers, you name it. Rule number one of tipping is that there are no rules. Nobody sits in jail for not paying a tip. Rule number two, confusion and tension. Couples often fight how much to leave, whether to leave a tip, and so on. Empirical research shows that there's very little or no correlation between the rate of tipping and the service level. Think about it. Are you getting better service now that you're paying 20% compared to 20, 30 years ago that you paid only 10%? The most important question to ask is whether workers are better off in a system with tipping compared to a system with no tipping. And here, analytical research shows that in the long run, service workers are not necessarily better off in a system with tipping compared to no tipping. And the reason is simply reduced competition. When employers observe that their workers get paid tips, they settle for lower wages. There are some anecdotes of places where workers used to pay their managers for the right to work and to collect tips. The minimum wage for tipped employees is $2.13 versus $7.25, the federal level. 19 states adhere to the $2.13 level. 10 states don't allow any discrimination between tipped employees and no tipped employees. The rest allow discrimination, but tipped employees are paid higher than $2.13. So, tipping is a very strong social norm in the American culture, and it's hard to see how it will be eliminated despite the drawbacks that we just mentioned.